goalie appreciation time, Tony. Stay locked.
Stay locked, my friend. What a showing from him. If it wasn't for a little bout of the stomach flu, I think is what they're calling it. I'm not sure. But ever since the trade deadline and this guy coming back up to the Blackhawks, he's dealt with a tremendous amount of injuries, but he has been a spark plug at goalie, Johnny. And you don't really typically see this from many goaltenders in the NHL. I know Marc-Andre Fleury might be considered a bit of a spark plug, but the Hawks haven't had that sort of outspoken goalie that's gone out there and done this type of thing in quite a bit. I love his game. I love the attitude he brings to the ice. You're talking about a guy that isn't phased in any aspect of the game. And I sort of compared this when we go back to the Robin Lehner experiment that the Hawks had. And he was a guy that could stand on his head for 3 periods, go to a shootout, and not save a single fucking puck. And then you've got Stalock, who will take penalties that lead to penalty shots, and he's unfazed. It doesn't matter to him. He can change a game. It's interesting to see that. I feel like he's playing at the top of sort of his game here with the Blackhawks in the midst of a rebuild, as he's sort of an older statesman sort of on this team, Johnny. I had him down as a trade deadline acquisition for a contending team. And I want to say that contending teams might be sitting here watching down the stretch saying, what would that have cost us to go acquire? Because I really do think he's the number one goalie on this team, especially right now, after you look at his body of work since coming back from injury. Just incredible stretch of hockey from Stalock here right now that we're witnessing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the numbers prove it when you're talking about number one. And, question asked to me that, who would be the Blackhawks top goalie if you had to say right now? I know it's a little weird in a rebuilding season to say that. I don't really think of the goalies too much, right? Because it's just kind of like, an afterthought more so. But Stalock would be if you go and look at the numbers. And then I really like his presence in the locker room. You hear all the guys, all the quotes from him. They all love his sense of humor. He keeps the room light. He brings energy to it. All of those things, like you said, stuff like, shit, sure, you guess you technically don't want your goalie taking a penalty, but he took care of his own mistake, right? He was just going to try and make a play on the puck tonight, throws his stick out, and that's a penalty shot because he let it go out of his hand. Maybe it slipped from his blocker, release there, but it doesn't matter to him. Unfazed, like you said. I think that's a good way for it. So I've enjoyed watching Alex Stalock play. I'm also going to give a little shout out to my boy, Peter. Bird is a word. Peter Mrazek, hey, he had a rough start to the year. He's dealt with groin injuries, and of course, he's dealing with another one right now. We kind of knew what we signed up for when we got him, though. He was just a placeholder in the net. However, in that stretch where he was healthy from kind of like this, dead days of winter, as we like to say, until just the other night, Tuesday, against the Boston Bruins, he had put together a string of performances that were elevated from his early season play. So I just wanted to shout him out for that, since it is goalie appreciation, segment here on the Four Feathers podcast. And you know me, I love some Family Guy memes.
I know you do. And I got to say, I said it earlier this season that I was done with the Peter Mrazek experience. He's picked it up considerably since then. I think I'm still done with it, though, because I just love watching Stalock in that.
Right.
And Jackson Stauber, who should probably be back up here, but GM Ron told me why he's not.
I just want to say that I'm very happy that, just for his health and well-being as a human being, Alex Stalock, I'm very glad that he is back healthy, but contributing too on the ice, because when he was still out with that kind of second concussion, and he had an illness that he was dealing with, like you'd mentioned there, it was Peter Mrazek having to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And then I know we had the Jackson Stauber sort of back up Arvid Soderblom earlier in the season. But it's nice that now that Mrazek has gone down again, Stalock is able there. He's healthy enough to be able to be there behind him and pick him up. those guys combined to help beat the Boston Bruins, because Mrazek made 16 saves before he exited, no goals against. Stalock did give up, 3 technically when he came in, but still got the win. Blackhawks still scored in front of him. He did enough, stopped enough high danger chances that the Boston Bruins threw the kitchen sink at him in that third period, and he held strong. So I think it's a testament to those guys, because it's not easy. It's not easy to do that on a rebuilding team. So that's why we have goalie appreciation segment here on the Four Feathers podcast.